Last month, out at the county range, heat already sitting on my neck, I was posted up at the far lane with a couple of guys who talk way too damn much. I wasn't filming. I wasn't testing. I was just trying to shoot in peace. My buddy walked up and slapped a receipt on the table like a traffic ticket. Circle and ink. He goes, "So this is what you trust now? That budget? Bargain bin special?" I read the total out loud, and that stupid little laugh hit my throat. Then it died. Anything under 500 usually feels like a compromise. This one didn't. It sat in my hand like it belonged there. No slick spots, no weird wobble, just locked in. So I loaded the nastiest mixed 9mm I had. No warm-up, no gentle pacing, timer on. First run, steel started ringing fast, not lucky hits, clean, repeatable. The gun tracked flatter than it had any right to. Trigger broke cleaner than some name brand stuff I'd paid for. That receipt stayed right there, staring at me. He wouldn't shut up about the Ruger RXM. For weeks, my buddy stayed on me. Just shoot it. Like I hadn't watched cheap pistols do the same dance every time. By Mag 2, they usually showed it. Trigger goes mushy, recoil gets weird, grip starts walking, something slips and you start building a fix list. So I caved on a random midweek afternoon and took the RXM to a half-empty range just to end his crusade. No camera, no review. I brought mixed junk 9mm and a timer, because I wasn't there, to be fair. I was there to make it fail. First mag, I pushed it faster than I should have. Nothing ugly showed up. Second mag, I waited for the usual moment. This is where cheap guns slip. It didn't. The RXM stayed flat, reset, stayed clean, and it sat in my hand like it cost more than I paid. That started to piss me off. I sped up more, sloppy grip on purpose, quick reloads, trying to shake something loose. Brass kept dropping in the same place like it was bored. Halfway through, I stopped and stared at it, like I missed the trick. I dug for flaws just to make it make sense. Found a couple small annoyances, nothing that screamed project, nothing that gave me relief. I packed up with this tight little knot in my stomach because I didn't trust how easy that felt. A few months back, I was at this cramped indoor range where the air smelled like burnt money and guys acted like their gear was a resume. I had my usual carry pistol with me, over 600 bucks, the kind of gun you bought so you never had to explain yourself. Guy in the next lane laid out a Taurus GX4 carry like it was nothing. We talked for a minute and he casually said what he paid, a little over $3. That $300 to $350 lane, I nodded like, yeah. Budget? Like I was doing him a favor. Then he goes, "You want to run the same drill?" And now there were eyes, because 2 lanes start keeping score. People always turn into referees. I ran my serious pistol first. Tried to push it. 2 shots, drifted when I sped up. Trigger felt heavier than I remembered. Recoil felt sharper than it had any right to for what I paid. Nothing catastrophic, just enough to make me irritated. Then he ran the GX4. This was where it was supposed to get ugly. This was where cheap guns got snappy and started begging for excuses. It didn't. That little Taurus stayed controlled and predictable, like it already knew the drill. I asked to hold it just to see, and it sat in my hand like it cost twice what he paid. I picked my gun back up and felt my stomach tighten, because now I was the guy holding the pistol that needed defending. And what came after that made it worse. Crooked price tags and dusty glass off South Lamar in Austin. That pawn shop always looked like it lost a fight with inventory. I wasn't hunting. I was killing 10 minutes before heading home. Used section had a Canik TP9 SF Elite S sitting there with that somebody needed rent money price. $350 vibes. Maybe pushing $4 if the guy behind the counter felt brave. I picked it up expecting the usual reminder. Grit. Mush. A reset that felt like a cheap door latch. First trigger press stopped me cold. Not pretty good. Not for the money. Too clean. Clean break. No mush. And the reset snapped back short and sharp like somebody already tuned it. And that's where it got dangerous. Because if I trusted that feel and I was wrong, I wasn't just out a few bucks. That's the kind of mistake you pay for later. The kind that turns into a story people repeat about you. So I looked at the guy behind the counter and asked, "Somebody work on this?" He didn't even look up. Nope, came in like that. Now I had a question mark in my hand. I dry fired it again, slower, trying to catch the rough edge that explained the price. Nothing. I walked out wanting it and hating how bad it would look if that too good trigger turned into a lie. Midday of April, my hand went to my belt, and I got that little jolt. Something felt off. Not painful, not heavy, just wrong, like I grabbed the wrong keys. I checked it, Arex Delta Gen2, and my stomach did that quick drop because the Delta Gen2 lived in that 300 to 400 world. That wasn't the pistol my body was supposed to pick on accident, not with pricier stuff sitting right next to it. Then I remembered why it happened. It was one of those rush mornings where I was already behind before I even left the house. Keys, wallet, phone, safe open, hand in, grab, shut. No thinking, no. Today I'm carrying nothing. Just muscle memory and momentum. And that's what bothered me later. Not did it shoot good, not is it reliable. The ugly part was this. My instincts picked the budget gun without asking permission. That's where it was supposed to fail. Right there, in the quiet moment. Your brain catches up and goes, nah, swap it. Mine didn't. It just sat on me all day, like it belonged, like it was the safe choice before my brain even showed up. So I stood there trying to name the reason, and I couldn't. And if I couldn't explain why I grabbed it, I also couldn't explain what I'd miss when it mattered. Then I got stubborn and went looking for a real one, and that's when the problems actually started. Recently, middle of the day, I was standing in a parking lot with trunks popped like a damn tailgate. Guys always did that, pulling gear out, comparing, acting casual, while everybody silently kept score. I had the PSA Dagger on me. A buddy of mine who worked law enforcement in Houston had his duty set up with him, standard, boring. The kind of gun you carried because paperwork existed and your job got real ugly sometimes. He picked my dagger up without saying anything and turned it over slow. Racked it once, checked the grip. Thumb rode the controls like he was trying to feel a lie. Then he looked at me and asked, "What is this?" "PSA Dagger! About 300. That's the moment cheap guns usually show themselves. This is where the slide felt gritty, or the controls felt mushy, or the trigger felt like a staple gun. Something always gave you an excuse to set it down and sneer. Nothing did. He dry pressed it once and didn't hand it back. He set his own gun down and just kept holding mine, like he was waiting for the dagger to confess. Standing there, I couldn't talk my way out of it. No range story, no on paper. Just a duty guy, quietly auditing a $300 pistol in public. And the part that hit me wasn't pride. It was how small that gap felt, and how much I hated admitting that. I can't remember what he said. Then next day, I ran the Beretta A1 a little faster than I normally did. Nothing cinematic, just pushing the pace enough to see where the cheap showed up, because that's where budget guns usually fold. They got snappy. They lost that planted feel. You started chasing the gun instead of driving it. The speed crept up without me meaning to. Splits tightened. Rhythm got ahead of my brain. And then it happened. My timing slipped a hair, just enough, that tiny half step where everything usually gets messy. That's the exact point where cheaper pistols start moving around in your hands, where recoil turns unpredictable, and the sights stop coming back where you left them. I brace for it. Shoulders tightened. Hands clamped down. I was already ready to fight the thing. It didn't happen. The A1 stayed planted like it was bored. No snap, no wandering, no catch it panic. That heavier, solid, duty-ish feel just kept it in line. And it pissed me off because it didn't give me an excuse. At that point, I wasn't testing a $350 gun anymore. I was reacting to something that felt like it belonged in a different category, and I still didn't know where the real limit was. What came after that was the one that made the whole list feel dangerous, because it didn't just run fast. It felt like it had no business costing what it cost. I took the SAR9 Gen 3 out recently with a petty goal, make it confess. Windy afternoon on an outdoor lane in my town. Dust kicking off the berm, brass bouncing everywhere. Perfect. No comfort, no nice conditions. I brought a bag of mixed 9mm I didn't even respect. Random brands, half-open boxes, the stuff that made premium guns suddenly get picky. No warm-up, no fresh lube, no fairness. Because budget pistols always told on themselves when you pushed pace. Trigger got mushy, recoil got jumpy, groups opened up. Something started feeling hollow, and you got your excuse to smirk. So I went fast right away. Not hero fast, mean fast. Like I was trying to make it fail out of spite. First mag, boring. Second mag, still boring. That's where I started getting mad. I tightened the cadence, rushed the reloads, let my grip get lazy on purpose, waiting for the moment where the gun finally acted like its price tag. It didn't. The recoil stayed predictable. Sights came back like they belonged there. Trigger stayed the same every press. Hits didn't fall apart when my discipline did. That's what screwed with me. Because it wasn't good for the money. It felt like the money was wrong. I packed up irritated, not impressed. And walking back to the truck, I caught myself thinking, if a pistol like that lived in the affordable lane, what the hell have we all been paying for? And how many of your premium guns actually earned their price the hard way? That was the whole point of this list. Cheap on the receipt, not cheap in your hand, under speed, under junk ammo, under that nasty little pressure where a gun usually shows its real face. None of these pistols stayed perfect. Everyone had a yeah, but that kept poking me in the ribs. Some had a trigger I didn't love. Some had a feel that screamed, corners got cut. And one of them ran so damn good it made me suspicious instead of happy. If you still think budget automatically means junk, you were either lucky or you didn't run your guns hard enough to get humbled. Drop the pistol you bought cheap, that embarrassed expensive guns, and what you paid where you live. I'm Steve. Targets stayed honest. That price tag still felt like a setup.